Unit 9, Sectionalism Divides the Nation. Assessment. Part 1. Let's take the SCA all over again, just worded a little differently. Number 1. Sectionalism is a time period in the United States when A. People voted based on their religious beliefs. B. People voted on their connection with a political party. C. People voted based on the topics that best supported their region. 2. The growth of sectionalism in the United States centered on what topics? A. Relationships with foreign nations throughout westward expansion. B. A state's right to make decisions that benefit them, especially on slavery. C. Power in the central government to create federal economic policies. 3. Which of the following are examples of people using civic participation to influence and change government policies? There are 4 correct answers. Uncle Tom's Cabin, John Brown's Raid, Underground Railroad, the Fugitive Slave Act, the Missouri Compromise, the Kansas-Nebraska Act, creation of the Republican Party, Dred Scott decision. 4 of those are examples of people using civic participation to influence and change government policy. You should recognize the next couple sections. Part 2 has 2 sets. There are options at the top. Definitely just write the abbreviation. Here we go. 4. Which of those options was a federal law applied to the land in Louisiana Purchase? It was successful in keeping the peace between the North and South for almost 30 years by balancing the power in the Senate. 5. Judicial decision that slaves were property and therefore not citizens. Since they were not citizens, they had no rights and could not be protected by the Constitution. Decision also stated that Congress could not make a law banning slavery in any territory. 6. Law that changed rules about slavery in the Louisiana Purchase, allowing popular sovereignty to decide, caused many arguments, illegal voting, and eventual bloodshed. 7. Forced all Americans to participate in slavery, jailing and fining those who did not help catch runaway slaves. Courts were designed to benefit the Southern view. 8. Event caused the South to believe they had no power in the nation's decisions and inspired South Carolina to secede. 9. Caused the need for the Compromise of 1850, which also included banning the slave trade in Washington, D.C., and creation of the Fugitive Slave Act. We have a second set. Your options are there. Let me know if you need support. 10. Created the need to have numerous compromises about balancing power between the North and the South. 11. Propaganda used to convince people about the evils of slavery. 12. Economic issue that caused debate between North and South. 13. Considered by South a terrorist act by Northern abolitionists. South was more upset when many in North supported the event. 14. Illegal action by many in North that increased due to the creation of the Fugitive Slave Act, publication of Uncle Tom's Cabin, and results of the Dred Scott court case. 15. Many compromises were attempted to try to stop this from happening. If you bring up your completed 1 through 15, I will let you ask me about one of this whole 4 through 15. I'll check to tell you whether it's right or wrong, and if it's wrong, you'll know that you need to fix it. Last 2. Extended thinking. 16. During Lincoln's election as the 16th President of the United States, many in the South argued that he was an abolitionist. He personally believed in abolition, but politically supported the views of the Republican Party. Explain the difference between abolitionists and the Republican Party. A. Abolitionists wanted to end slavery everywhere. Republicans wanted to stop the spread of slavery. B. Abolitionists wanted to stop the spread of slavery. Republicans wanted to end slavery. C. Abolitionists wanted to end slavery. Republicans wanted to spread slavery throughout the nation. 17. Since the creation of the Constitution, states from the South had been the largest supporters of the states' rights doctrine. But the idea of states' rights was also argued by the North. List one federal government decision from this unit. There's plenty listed on this test that would have had many northern states calling for the use of states' rights. So select one of those items and explain why the North would have argued states' rights on that topic. Doesn't have to be 10 sentences, but does need to have some explanation. The extra credit. 1. What proposed law would have banned slavery in the Mexican cession instead of used popular sovereignty? 2. What happened within Congress that truly showed their inability to compromise for the benefit of the nation? And 3, and once again, you can't get any of these right if you don't answer 17 well. You got to try. Opinion, this is definitely just being playful. Abraham Lincoln is most like which fictitious superhero? Explain with at least 2 specific examples. So it could be one of those superheroes listed or plenty of other ones. Once again, if everything else is done and done well, you get points for the explanation and you could get points for the drawing, but I would not spend your time on that. I would make sure everything else is done well.